Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be doing my first ever Q&A in 13 years of YouTube to celebrate 60,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you've been here since the beginning, if you just came, I'm still so grateful for you. And this is the scariest video I've ever done. I've literally procrastinated and fidgeted with the angle and the questions and the outfit for days. So I'm finally sitting here and I'm gonna answer all the questions before I lose my nerve. I asked my Patreon community, which I'm so grateful for, to send me all the questions for this Q&A. So if you want to be in the next one, or if you just want to be a part of the community, there's a link below. I'm like sweating right now because I don't like talking to the camera. So we're just gonna dive right in. First question, what does keudae and aiheyo mean? Keudae is actually a Korean word which means you. It just means you, except it's a lyric and it can't be spoken in conversation. And back when I started this channel, I was actually learning Korean because I was really into K-pop. And if you were here 12 years ago, you would know that I only covered K-pop songs on piano, actually, exclusively K-pop. And so a lot has changed, but keudae was a word that I really liked, and it was in every single song, and I just thought it looked cute written out in English. And fast forward to now, it's hard to explain exactly why that's my channel name. People think it's my actual name. It's not my actual name. Nope, my name is Jenny. And aiheyo is actually a word I made up. It's ai, which is Japanese for love, and then heyo, which is the Korean verb stem, like a present tense, like to do. Put it together and it's basically I love you in Japanese and Korean. I made it up and now it's my email and now it's my Instagram handle, and I think it looks cute. There's lots of vowels. But yeah, question number 2. This took long enough to get to question number 2. Question number 2. Please tell us about your musical journey from start to this day. I started playing piano because I saw my neighbor, Sarah, if you're watching this, I doubt you will ever see this, but you inspired me to start playing piano back in 2nd grade, so thank you. I went to my friend Sarah's house and she was practicing for Elise, you know, Beethoven. But then I have no recollection of how I felt, but I remember going straight home and asking my mom for piano lessons, and that was the end of that. And here we are now. I started taking classical piano lessons in 2nd grade with a very strict Korean teacher, and I stayed with her until she moved to LA. And after that, I switched to a Japanese teacher who was very chill. Like I never practiced basically. After I got stuck on Chopin's Nocturnes, I kind of gave up on classical music and I started really loving pop songs. And I started playing that by ear, and I got into K-pop and J-pop. And fast forward to my freshman year of college, I went to Cal State East Bay. I saw a jazz performance for the first time. I fell in love, switched my major to jazz from mass communications. Then I've just been kind of mixing and mashing all of that until now. In 4th grade, I did take choir. In 5th grade, I took violin and guitar, and I can still play a little guitar, but I can't play violin for the life of me. And I know like 4 chords on ukulele, and that's about it. I'll only be able to get through all these questions if I answer really quickly before I burst into tears or have a nervous breakdown. So, next question. Can you share with us your creative process when arranging a song? How do you choose what song to arrange? Now I only pick songs that I love, so that's how I choose a song. And my creative process, I know you want to hear kind of a blank plus blank equals finished product, but it's not like that really. Every song is different, and there's an airplane flying over my house. I usually start by playing piano along with the original song, like with headphones, and I'll play the chords and pretend like I'm in the band, kind of like in there, and then I'll practice playing the melody, and when I have that down, I'll play without the song and see what sounds right, and I just fiddle with it until it sounds right, kind of thing. Jake is calling me. Off topic maybe, but what has been your favorite trail / path that you've explored in your hiking adventures? All the trails in Montana are my favorite. Utah is pretty cool too. Salt Lake City, the mountains are gorgeous. The mountains in Montana are gorgeous. Glacier National Park, the Crypt Lake Trail in Canada, that was pretty epic too, especially on 0 hours of sleep. fun stuff. I want to know what things are going through your mind when you do mashups and how you come up with these beautiful heartwarming chords. I want to know how your brain works in those moments. It's basically preference at this point. I have certain chords that I like to play. I keep playing them. I play certain things all the time. Like that. I like chords in first inversions. Add 2, add 9. I just keep certain sounds and I use them over and over in the songs until the sun is shining in my eyes. How long have you been playing and what did you want to do with your love for music? I've been playing for, well, now if I tell you the year, you're gonna know how old I am. So I'm just saying I've been playing since 2nd grade. I still kind of dream about getting picked up by an artist, maybe going on tour with someone famous, just being in the band, you know? Like, I never wanted to be a front man. I'm not gonna be a singer. I just want to accompany someone. Accompany a singer, accompany an instrumentalist. But touring sounds so fun. And performing more, I don't have any specific dreams, I guess. I'm just doing my best every day, especially in quarantine, just playing songs that I like, seeing what happens. How long do most songs take you from inspiration to completion? Every song is different. Charlie Puth's song, Girlfriend, took less than 4 hours from when he released it for me to listen to it, learn it, record it, and post it. So that was an easy song example. But I mean, I could have gone in depth with it and totally changed it. It could have taken days to practice. It all depends on how I feel, how much I like the song, what I want to get out of the song. Or Sad Machine, Jazzified, that took a couple weeks to arrange and practice because I really thought about it and it didn't come naturally. It didn't just happen. Like Shelter just happened. Like I didn't have to work on that at all. I was feeling the creative juices for whatever reason. Nirvana Mania, that took some time to practice. All of Lov's songs didn't take time to practice. Those were pretty much like one a day type things. What are your favorite riffs and what sort of things do you feel from them? I remember your comment about the gut-wrenching Sad Machine riff and I was so curious as to what other little phrasings are in your mind that are like that. The Sad Machine riff. It's not even the main riff. But that little riff, I think the gut-wrenching part of it is the 7th, the leading tone to tonic. In the key of E flat, leading tone is D, tonic is E flat. That tension and that movement, I think, is what gets me personally. So another song that's like that is Moments by Mitis. Oh no. It goes like, it's not the main riff or the main melody, it's just part of the broken up voice in between the chorus. That leading tone to tonic, I think that's what gets me. It's also in Get Your Wish. So tell me how it felt. How it felt is leading tone tonic 5. That right there, I think it's just like, my heart. Where do you get the individual tracks for pieces? The vocal tracks for Shelters, I Like Me Better, the other Jazzifies that I've done, I Google them. Whatever pops up on YouTube is what I use. I don't try to ask anyone. I don't go deep into the darkest corners of the web to find the vocals only tracks. I just use whatever I can find. Literally Googled it, downloaded it off YouTube. What was learning jazz at school like? The best years of my life. Have you ever thought about if John Mayer became mayor, he would be called Mayor? I did not think about that until you mentioned it, and you know who you are. When, where, how, and why John Mayer? My boyfriend at the time persuaded me to go to a John Mayer show with him. And prior to that, I actually didn't listen to John Mayer. So this is July of 2017. I went to see him at the Shoreline Amphitheater with Ian and his trio set, the John Mayer trio set, Steve Jordan, Pino Palladino. That got to me. Like, I was in love. And then after that, Ian burned all John Mayer's discography on CDs for me to listen to, and I just became obsessed, and then he regretted it because I'm talking more about John Mayer than I am about him, and he gets all the credit for my current John Mayer obsession, I guess. I don't want to call it an obsession though, because then if I actually got to meet him, I don't want to be labeled like stalker. To this day, yeah, I have too much John Mayer merch. He's been my wallpaper since 2017. Now I just changed it to him in the Redwoods in California earlier this year with Land Rover. John Mayer has inspired me to go to Montana. I've been to Paradise Valley 3 times to see the place that John Mayer wrote about for Paradise Valley, of course. My favorite album is not Continuum, it's Paradise Valley. For the record, any advice for complete noobs that have never played piano but want to start? Don't give up. Even if it's hard in the beginning, don't give up. Keep in mind the songs that you love and the songs that you want to play eventually. And even if it's basic left hand, right hand melody, even if it's the most basic version, just know that you are playing it all by yourself on piano and you're gonna feel such joy. I promise you, you will feel such joy when you're playing your favorite songs on piano by yourself. Tell us the story of how the Housewarmers were born. The Housewarmers is the band I play keyboard for. It's a 5-piece band, guitar, vocals, bass, keyboard, drums, sax. And we actually met at a housewarming party in San Leandro down the street. Our bass player was having a party and we all ended up jamming and realizing that we had something. And since then we've been gigging. Ian writes all our music. Ian sets up the whole housewarmer Twitch. We've done a few live streams now during quarantine because we haven't had any gigs all year. A lot of fun stuff has come from being a part of the Housewarmers and I'm really happy to be a part of them. Have you lived in Japan? Any favorite things you do when you go back to visit? I have never lived in Japan. The longest time I was there was a whole month and I don't really have a favorite thing to do when I go back. I visit my grandma. My grandpa recently passed away, so it's just my grandma, my aunt, a cousin I haven't seen for over a decade. I think that's it. What are your favorites of your own songs and covers? Off the top of my head, I remember being really proud of a Fall Out Boy cover that I did a long time ago. My songs Know What You Did in the Dark? Yeah. I was really proud of that one for some reason because at the time I was listening to my favorite piano player of all time, Hiromi. If you haven't heard her, please listen to her. She's crazy. I felt like I was really starting to sound like her a little bit. This cover specifically, I'll leave a link somewhere on the screen. Oh my god, I've never done that before. Is it gonna be here? Is it gonna be here? Is it gonna be here? The sound quality is awful, but I think my ideas were pretty cool for back then. Like now, I'm totally different. What do you miss most about pre-COVID life? Live music and sitting in cafes. Is there anything you want to do more once it's all over? I want to go to my first EDM festival, which I never thought I would say. I would love to know what you benefit from the most from having taken classical piano lessons when you started playing piano. I really believe that having such a strong reading foundation, because my classical teacher was so strict. I never practiced, so I don't know how I improved week to week, but she was amazing. She had patience somehow. And I remember all the technical exercises she would make me do. I think I hated them at the time, but now I'm so grateful that I had to do them. I know my weak points. Like when I compare myself to other piano players on YouTube, I know what I can't do. When I hear someone play something I can't play, yeah, I feel sad, but I'm also really happy where I am. Like I can play what I want to play and I can play to my heart's content and I'm not held back in any way because my fingers can't do this or because my brain doesn't know this part of theory. Like I'm pretty happy with the way things are going right now. Why did you later switch to playing by ear? I read in one of your YouTube comments that you did. Yes, after classical lessons, I started playing by ear simply because I couldn't find sheet music. I remember it was Dongbang Shingi's Rising Sun. I could not find the sheet music anywhere. And so I said, screw this, I'm gonna learn it by ear. And that's how I started playing by ear. Do you think you would try singing in your covers? No. Have you done vocals for anything before or will it always be exclusively piano? Exclusively piano. Do you play any other instruments? I still play a little guitar like I said before. I kind of learned the drum part to Thundercats Them Changes and I could play that at like a quarter speed. Does that count? Do you make any other kinds of art? Nope. Visual arts, nope, I suck. I used to draw horses with crayons, but that's about it. What are some of your favorite less known, not mainstream artists? Thirsty Merc. If you haven't listened to them before, they're an Australian rock band. They're amazing. They're jazz influenced because Ray Thistlethwaite, the most craziest last name I've ever heard in my life. Ray Thistlethwaite, he is amazing. I've transcribed a couple of his solos, but then one of his solos I actually gave up because it was too hard and I couldn't play it and it was too fast. But Thirsty Merc, I'll leave something down below so you can click it and check out their music because they're amazing. I hope you listen to them. I also want to just mention Moriyama Naotaro. He is the person that got me into pop, J-pop specifically, I guess. His song Sakura, which means cherry blossom, will always be hands down, forever and ever, my #1 top favorite song in the whole entire universe. Well, I talked super fast through most of these questions and answers because, again, I didn't want to lose my nerve. Talking to the camera is so nerve-wracking. I'm just fidgeting and sweating, and now my neighbor's dog is barking. Okay, I'm gonna end it there before I catch myself murdering the neighbor's dog on camera. The sun was much higher in the sky when I started this video, and now it is almost set. I hope this video wasn't too long and boring and you learned something new about me. If you have any more questions, please leave them down below and I'll try to reply. Thank you to my Patreon community for sending me these questions. I'll see you guys in next week's piano cover. Bye!